Hello everyone and welcome. This episode picks up immediately where we left off last episode with Carol discovering that the liquid sustenance the hive mind needs to consume is made of human remains. Ones that likely passed away naturally or as a result of the great joining that took place earlier this season, or perhaps from times Carol makes them seize up when she upsets them. I have to say, the liquid they drink being made up of people is such a letdown considering it's so obvious. In fact, I did not even include it in my last video covering episode 5 since it was so in-your-face obvious that I thought, no way Vince Gilligan, he's way too smart, there's no way he would do something so obvious and somewhat of a hackneyed trope. Comment down below what you guys think about the reveal. Did you see it coming? Did it land with you right? Let me know. But no, here we are. Now this isn't a huge criticism, it is fine, it's just that it's been done before and I was expecting a little bit more. We then have her video recorder findings, no doubt to share with the others, but it's during this recording that she sarcastically says, let me give you guys the grand tour of the facility in which she finds human remains. I find that after just discovering a literal warehouse of human bodies that the last thing I would do is be comedic or sarcastic or display any emotion similar to that. I would be way more serious and in shock. I get that this kind of fits in with her character, but for me this just seems a bit odd. This is like a thing a normal person simply would not say or do. Again, a small criticism. Interesting transition there. Nothing special, but I enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you guys always appreciate a well-placed transition. We see her pack up for a trip and then head out. Oh my goodness, is this intro so shite. They legit put no effort into it at all. I hate the music, the design, and honestly the name of the show is unique and well thought out, but honestly the intro is even making me not like that just by association. After that gosh awful transition, we see how the Kumba character is living in Vegas, which is pretty lavishly. Expensive drinks, pretty women, nice clothes, fancy pad, and oh yeah, he recreates a scene from one of the Bond movies at the casino he's staying at. Absolutely hilarious and gives him a lot of character. He's just a dude making the best out of a bad situation. I gotta respect that. Also, did anyone else notice that during the scene Kumba, who I'll refer to as K from now on since I'm lazy, almost spills his drink? I mean, how did no one else see this? Maybe they did and did not care. It's such a funny little detail. In fact, I love seeing small imperfections fall through in media, and I really gotta say I love the idea of being genuine in media. For instance, say your character is making a speech about, say, nothing in particular, but during that speech they sneeze and someone says God bless you and the character quickly says thank you and then goes back to their speech. Would that not be both adorable and realistic? Absolute cinema, but I digress. I gotta say how adorable it is that he puts up this charade and how the hive mind entertains him this way. Him delicately assuring his escort about his bet by placing his hand on hers seems so innocent. To me, even though we all know what's going on here, I find it hilarious the fact that the game is likely rigged to benefit him. However, he not only gives himself the winning hand, but he gives himself the rarest possible hand one can have in standard 5-card poker, which I definitely enjoyed the hell out of that. Once he wins the game, it's during this celebration that the hive mind collectively celebrates his win, just to appease him of course. However, his opponent in the poker game is also giving him praise, to which Kay says, "Hey pal, stay in character," implying that he should be a sore loser after the game. After remembering this, the character angrily shoves a full glass off the table and it hits the guy next to him right in the nuts. I'm not sure how funny this show is meant to be, but it's funnier than I give it credit for. This entire sequence is funny, well done, it definitely helps wash down the taste of that obvious plot reveal of Soylent Green. Now after he leaves, they all stop partying and clean up in silence. Very eerie. A stark reminder that they are an efficient alien hive mind, not happy partygoers. The scene of him in the bathtub with the women is also a stark reminder that this guy, although living his best life, is a bit of a perv and a creep. He even suggests that an elderly woman get in the tub with him before they all leave, considering Carol is coming to visit them. Now remember, in the last episode or two, the hive mind has decided not to speak to Carol anymore, and so when she is approaching him, they all have to leave so that they can discuss their matters in private. The song playing on the intercom while Carol enters the penthouse suite is a nice touch. Part of the song we do hear is about relaxing and not worrying, completely the opposite of how Carol is behaving right now. Most of the other non-infected appear to be doing just that, relaxing and living the best they can. It is in their interaction that we find that not only has the hive mind actually sent the video Carol makes to the survivors, but that they have seen them and have simply chosen not to respond to her, choosing instead to ignore her. I can totally relate, Carol. That's what the public does to this channel. I love how he describes her videos as being well done and dramatic. This conversation then leads him to mentioning that he already knows they use human remains as a food source. She is in awe, she is in shock. He then shows her the video the hive mind made for Carol to calm her and explain the reasonings and processes for consuming human remains. They hilariously use John Cena as a figure to explain this to her for unknown reasons. It's likely because he's a nice guy and everyone really likes John Cena, me included. Very funny and unexpected cameo. Not to mention they explain this serious topic to her in such a nice and calming way. Even the video is delightfully charming. HDP, human derived derived protein is what they call the food source in which they add to their drink, not HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Just to be clear. Carol is surprised that he knew this. She had to find this out on her own since they are no longer in speaking terms. She doesn't speak to the hive mind anymore, so her ability to freely ask them questions is slightly limited. The other survivors, on the other hand, are in constant contact with the hive mind and ask questions freely. Kay finds this out while hanging out with John Cena. His slight mention of this is honestly so funny, especially on second viewing. This episode really ups the humor. We find that the remaining survivors all stay in touch with one another. They're all on some sort of basis of hanging out in person even. They also mainly hang out in Zoom, as he mentioned, but they exclude Carol because they simply do not like her. I mean, that shit is so saddening. She is so unlikable. Carol then asks to excuse herself and go to the bathroom, and there is a portrait of Kay's character in the bathroom, which I gotta say is gosh darn hilarious. I bet this was really fun to shoot for a Kay character. I mean, it's an episode all about him. He seems to have some decency as a person, some kindness, since he puts a blanket over Carol as she has drunk herself to sleep. And when she wakes up, he's making breakfast for her. He oddly eats her food the same way she does, mimicking her. What the hell was the significance of this? I gotta know. Let me know in the comments if you guys picked this up and honestly were like, what? Why is he doing this? A little later, we find that Carol is getting upset again at the fact that they might turn into one of them eventually. When Kay states they cannot turn into one of them, since in order for them to do that, they would need to tailor the mRNA vax to their stem cells, and that they would first need to collect said stem cells, which requires them to stick a large needle in the hip bone, which is very painful. Now, we know they cannot knowingly and actively harm living individuals, animals, whatever, but at least not without their consent. So when they asked him, he simply said no. So they simply cannot turn, which is great news. I mean, they can honestly just keep on living the happy life for the rest of their lives. It would be so sad, though, hypothetically, to see someone in this hive mind world, say the only survivor, right? Only one individual. And unfortunately, coincidentally, that person is a heroin addict. So you would simply spend your days in an H-induced stupor, butt crack hanging out and all, laying face down in a gutter while the last of human civilization dies with you, sick ape. That's a Begonia reference. She then states that she does not consent to the hive mind, and they assure her they will not change her. We go back a few days in the next scene, and we find that the guy from Portugal sees one of Carol's videos. He is the only one similar to her. He has the same intention, to stay as far away from them and potentially find contact with other non-infected and likely find a cure to this. They don't speak the same language, however. He speaks Portuguese. Is that the language? Yeah, I think so. Though she doesn't speak her language, the video she gives them, they seem to subtitle for him. I feel like he's going to be an integral to the plot moving forward, likely by the end of this season or starting in season 2, if not this one. We then see him leave his hideout and scavenge for food. The hive mind then uses his mother to communicate with him, but he denies her kind offer since he says, "You are not my mother. My real mother is a bitch." Further highlighting the disturbing nature of them hijacking people's actual selves. Now, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but if you notice, Manusis, who's the man from Portugal, has a bad relationship with his mother. Just like Carol, if you recall from previous episodes, Carol's mother sent her to a conversion camp, and Carol never forgave her for that. Some similarities with these characters. I know it's a bit of a reach with the show being so new, but it would be interesting if for whatever reason their immunity stems from not receiving love from one's mother and the psychological issues that arise from that. Pure and total speculation, of course, but the show is still in its infancy, and I'm just going with what I got. Let me know what you guys think. Good catch or far reach? Overall, decent episode. Best parts are Kumba's debauchery, the hive mind can't turn them, the Portuguese man setup, acting solid, cinematography great, editing tight, sound good, intro still sucks. Like the video if you think the intro is irredeemable trash. Comment if your favorite moment was the nutshot, John Cena cameo, or creepy bathtub grandma time. Subscribe for more content. Like the vid if you did. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out!